Lincoln has great poise when he speaks, man. Blue Blood had a question in the chat. Derek Thomas.
Wow. Boy, I tell you what, DT was one of the best at. There's a phrase that we use in the offensive line. It's like he can turn on the dime. He could get so low. I'm a tall guy, 6'7", and I can't remember how tall DT was, but he could get so low and come up under you. Like when you watch Von Miller play these days, he was much like that. He can go around the corner, he can turn around the corner, and the thing is that you had to beat DT to a point because he had, look, the guys that play over there run faster forward than we big offensive linemen run backwards. So we had to be smart about the way you attack them. And he was a beast. He was a beast. I remember one game in Kansas City where I think he sacked our quarterback like 7 times because we kept doing 7-step drops, and like, why would you sit there and allow this man to eat like that? So, but he was a beast, man. He was a great player. And another one that was gone in the world far too soon.
Yeah. The Gruden Bowl. The Gruden Bowl and Barrett Robbins, man. So talk about how you felt then. Were you disappointed? And obviously you know the truth now, but can you walk through that?
Here's the thing, and I'll say this again. In my opinion, Barrett Robbins is not the reason we lost the Super Bowl. Okay, It was an unfortunate incident. We knew earlier that season that Barrett had a problem, that he had a problem with bipolarism. And he was one of the guys that, unfortunately, he didn't want to take his medicine. He also had an issue with drinking. The combination was really offsetting. We were able to cover up and mask a lot of things that went on because we were winning. And we had a relationship with the city of Oakland and a lot of officials. So a lot of stuff didn't slip out. But Barrett had his problems all year. There was nothing new. What was most unfortunate about that setting is that we were the last of the 1 weekers. We played the AFC Championship game against the Tennessee Titans. We won. It was a very physical game. We were that night game. So Sunday night, we're up, saying that, okay, we're flying down to San Diego the following day to get ready for the Super Bowl. At no time did we ever think that because the other coach from the other side was John Gruden, that he would know us better than we knew ourselves. I don't think we ever took that into consideration because we were in the Super Bowl. We had the #1 offense. We had, Rich Gannon was MVP. We had Jerry Rice. We had Tim Brown. We had all these weapons. Charlie Garner. We were just so full of ourselves and thinking that we were just going to run all over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because their undersized defensive line couldn't hang with us. So the plan is we were going to go in there and run the ball down their throats. Unfortunately, and this is the big thing, this is why the Gruden Bowl came into effect. Gruden took his playbook and his audible system that Rich Gannon knew like the back of his hand, the back of our hand. We only ran like different variations of 12, 13 plays. That's all we did. That was our offense, just different variations. And he said, look, when you show Rich this look, he's going to check to this. And when he does, this receiver is going to do a hitch. This one's going to do a post. This one's going to do a corner. And so in the first quarter, after we got that field goal, after the Charles Woodson intercepted the ball, Rich got an audible to one of the normal audibles, and I heard, as clear as us talking today, I heard their defenders from Derek Brooks and John Lynch and those guys. He's running a hitch. He's running a post. He's running a stop.
Wow.
So when you look back at that game, the difference of the game was there were 4 interceptions for touchdowns.
Yep.
Because they knew they was like they were playing in our backfield. It's like they were in our huddle. And once we called on that they knew the plays, there were a lot of times we had to stick with them, even when they were bad plays called. And we still tried to come back. We still tried to muster or get our way back into it. But Gruden prepared his defense like we should have prepared our defense because they ran the similar offense that we had, and they didn't really do anything to light up the scoreboard. We started scoring, but the 4 interceptions for touchdowns was the biggest difference.
Yeah. Money Brown has a question about Aaron Donald. Can you stop Aaron Donald one-on-one?
You know what? I'm not afraid of anybody. Let me just say that first and foremost. I went up against some of the best. So, AD, I made sure I tipped my hat to him, especially for what he did in that Seattle game trying to play through that rib injury. I tip my hat on. He's a work ethic, but I ain't afraid of no one. I ain't backing down from nobody. So anybody comes across me, they're gonna have to go through me. That's just the way I think about it.
I appreciate that. And before you get out of here, I got a couple of things. Uh, who is the best offensive weapon to come out of the Pac-8? It was Pac-10 when you were
Pac-10.
there. Pac-12. Who was the
Shoot.
greatest offensive weapon?
Dang, it's a good one.
We have these conversations. I mean, feel free to name 2 or 3, but we have these conversations all the time. And obviously I'm gonna the best defensive guy.
Yeah. I mean, well, you know, Steve was a beast, but he couldn't translate on the next level. Steve Ettman, he
Yeah.
was a beast in college. I mean, he wrecked shop, but it didn't translate on the next level. And what's hard about your question is because there are boys amongst men in college that can
Yeah.
dominate in college, but when they get to the next level, they kind of phase away. You know what I'm saying? So, for what it's worth,
Strictly college. Who is that?
strictly college, strictly
Yeah.
college. That's a good one. Look, I mean, gotta tip your hat to Reggie Bush, right? San Diego
Yes,
kid, Heisman
Reggie.
fish.
You said Reggie. I said the same thing. I said
I'm trying to
Reggie,
think.
man.
Yeah.
Reggie, man. The things that I saw from Reggie, that Fresno State game, man, oh man. I could not believe what my eyes were seeing.
I mean, you
Man.
saw some great athletes. I mean, again, we're talking about like Marcus Allen, the San Diego guys that went to college and had tremendous careers. You can't, and you got to speak on like TD. I mean, TD went to Long Beach State, then went to Georgia, got drafted, Terrell Davis, and then, became an MVP before he went into the Hall of Fame. So there were a lot of great guys going out of here, Dawkins and John Jackson. And I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of all the playmakers that had successful careers. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. There was so many players that came out of the West Coast, out of those great schools. Even A State. Eric Allen, one of my great friends, came out of Arizona State, had a great successful career in college as well as in pros. So I mean, gosh, there's so many guys.
Yeah, Reggie Bush was a monster. And I got a story for you. So in 1996, I used to play basketball with you at Venice Beach. We played for a whole summer together. We played on each other. So
Wow.
you would pick me all the time, and we would dominate. We would have Kobe Bryant,
Oh
Doug
my goodness.
Christie, Brian McKnight. You and I was on
Wow.
the like, man, Shorty, you with me, and we would literally dominate the whole summer, right?
Dude, I remember that. Dude. That was those
Yeah,
good times, man. Some good times.
yeah. And then check this out. And you were so kind to me. Like the grace that you give off now is still like reminds
Wow.
me of it. And I'll tell you a story. So I'm thinking about having kids, right? This was like years back, right? And my name is Frederick Hawthorne. And I know these androgynous names, right? My
Mhm.
name got me in the doors before my physical presence, right?
Right.
And you came to mind. And I
Why is
says,
that?
Lincoln, because you were like the first professional athlete that ever like brought me in,
Mhm.
and I remember Lincoln Kennedy, and I says that is a name that can get my kids into places that they probably can't get into. So my son name is Lincoln, and my daughter name is Kennedy. Swear before God. Swear before
I'm
God.
flattered. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. That is very touching, and I'm honored. I really am.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
yeah. It
Wow.
was. I just remember us, but just the fact that you were so kind to me. I was a freshman in college in between, and we
Mhm.
balled out all summer. You bought me lemonades and fruit bowls and all that. We had a good
Hey, that
time.
was that was the way I stayed in shape, bro. I played
That's
hoops.
what I was
I
telling
that's
them.
I did. That was the way I stayed in shape because I wasn't running any miles or anything like that. I'm gonna go on the court and have some fun. Basketball was actually my first love. Before I just had to eat my way into football because my coach wouldn't tell me that I couldn't stop eating. So that's why I came into football.
Yeah, and that reminds me, like you always be genuine when you meet people. Like Michael Jordan always says, I know a father of four, a mother of four. They saved up their money to see me play. And although I couldn't afford to save up and see you play, but your character was great when I was a child, and I just want to say thank you. Yeah,
Well,
it was special. You was a special dude to me. I was like, you was
no,
the first athlete I ever really met. You know, I saw Kobe playing at Venice Beach, but I didn't
right,
talk to him. Doug Christie
right.
was on his own little thing, you know, but yeah, man, you was awesome. You were awesome.
Well,
And
the honor is mine, young brother. And I will say this, that what I've told my kids constantly is, you be kind to everybody because you never know who you're going to meet,
yeah,
and you never know where you're going to cross paths. And so, don't be. They're going to remember that asshole. You don't want to be that asshole on the other side of that. So,
right.
pleasure's mine.
Yeah, and man, we genuinely appreciate you coming on. DB, you got anything?
Heck no, how the heck I'm gonna come behind that story?
But yeah, man, I'll never forget that, man. We balled out. I mean, we won every time we played, man. We were
Some fun games, man. It was some good fun games. We crossed a lot of people, those days, because everybody back on the court wanted to try to prove something. So it was, hey, we're coming out taking it serious. So I
right.
love that. Love those stories.
And Patty says hello. She's in the chat, and I appreciate. How was Patty? How was the Patty experience?
It was wonderful. Everything was great. The whole. I mean, in all honesty, the whole thing, the moving to this moment, I was looking forward to it. I really was. I had heard about the barbershop. I had heard what you guys were doing, and was big fans of yours. Before the time when Patty told me about it, I started looking into some of the shows and stuff like that. So I like the concept, and it's fun. It's really enjoyable.
And man, we would love to have you come back. And I just want to say thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're gonna live in my family forever, man. So thank you, and I appreciate your grace. And it was an honor to meet you when I was 17, 18 years old. Yeah.
Wow. Man, that's awesome. Great story. I'm glad you remember that, because I can
Yeah.
remember yesterday these days.
Appreciate you coming to
But
the
yeah,
bar,
thank you.
and
Appreciate it.
come back, please. Yeah, all the time.
I will, definitely.
Thank
All
Peace
the
and
time.
blessings. Thank you for everybody. You guys got it. Take care.
All the time. Yeah, I'll beam you out. Yeah. Oh, that was fun. That was fun.
Damn,
I always want to tell him too.
Chills, man.
Yeah, I always want to tell him that story, man. Always
I already knew the story. You told me already 15 times, but just to hear you tell it to him,
yeah,
and to have a genuine and a positive,